Hello again. I am answering another question today. So this question continues on. The person asked was, why did God choose to reveal himself in a book? And it claimed that this book, the Bible, was full of historical inaccuracies and contradictions. I am not sure what they mean by historical inaccuracies. Not really don't understand that. As a lot of the things that are written in there actually can be proven historically. So I don't know. And contradictions. Not sure if they mean historical contradictions or if that the Bible contradicts itself. But I'm going to do my best to answer this question, as I'm not the most expert. But I can tell you that God didn't reveal himself in a book. He reveals himself to people. He reveals himself to people because people, his children, are the most important to him. And then those people write those words down, and they write those experiences down. And they were compiled by other people into a book. Because people are the Lord's main focus, he is going to reveal to them in ways and manners and in things they need and ways they will understand. So the Bible, the people back then lived very differently than how we live. And we can still gain a lot of wisdom from the revelations that they got. But some of them don't precisely apply in the same way. And we can't just copy paste or say, oh, this was exactly how it is forever and always, as in, let's take, for example, Joseph received dreams. Joseph, who was sold into Egypt, right? Received dreams. And it was about a historical event, again, 7 years of famine, 7 years of plenty, and that did come to fruition. So we don't really take that so much now as we do symbolically. We can learn a lot from it, especially symbolically and spiritually. And there's a lot symbolically and spiritually that can be applied to these last days. So it doesn't mean his dreams and that revelation doesn't have any meaning anymore. It absolutely still has meaning for us as we learn from it and think deeply and ponder on it. And the Bible isn't complete. I know that might make some people upset, but it's not complete with every single word that was ever spoken by God to his children. Not every story made it in. There are books that we know of that were taken out, and there are stories that we just don't have. For example, let's look at Genesis 5:24. It says, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. That's it. There's a story there. What is it? It's not there. It's not in the Bible. If all you have is the Bible, there's a lot that you miss out on. John, even in Jesus' time, John 8, verse 56, he says to the people, he says, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it, and he was glad. So Jesus says right there, Abraham received a vision of his day, his present time that he was in, and he rejoiced to see it because he must have seen the crucifixion and the resurrection, the salvation that was to come. That is not written in the Bible. That revelation that he got, it's not there. That experience that he had, it's not there. There's a lot. And that has to do with just men, people, whether it's on purpose, whether it's just lost, gone, burned, whatever. I don't know. But it does, the wonderful thing is that God continues to talk to his people, has always talked to his people, and people, thankfully, have written it down and have tried their best to preserve his words. And one of those books is the Book of Mormon. That book is another testament of Jesus Christ and his words and his dealings with the people in the Americas. And reading that book helps give clarity to the Bible. They are words written by prophets. It's not written by Joseph Smith. It was written by prophets. And they wrote it so that those who read it can come closer to Christ. That is what they cared about the most. And so that we can come to understand him and have a relationship with him. And God continues to speak today to his prophet, President Oaks. God can speak to you through the Holy Spirit and give you personal revelation that you can write down. So yes, it would be very confusing if all you ever used was just the Bible. It would seem very contradictory. It would seem incomplete because it was not the only word we were meant to ever just go by. We were meant to continuously learn of him through other ancient texts and through continuous learning of him through prophets and through personal revelation. It would be kind of like, say, for example, you wanted to learn about, I don't know, a country. And all you do is pick up one brochure and read about one thing in that country. And then you could say, well, I know everything there is to know about the history and the people and everything about that country from one little brochure that was really just about maybe just a historic fort or something that was there. And that's it. But you miss so much. You miss a complete story of what else is there. How else did that, what else was there culturally? What else was there art-wise or anything? So that is why I think this particular person is so, I can understand their frustration. I can understand it. It would be very frustrating. I'm so grateful and so thankful for continued revelation that God speaks today, and he can speak to you, especially when you pray to him and you pray and you listen. God speaks to us through the scriptures we read. He can speak to you through the verses you read in the Bible. He can speak to you through the verses you read in the Book of Mormon. And if you have never read it, I encourage you to read it. And I encourage you to pray, to receive your own revelation, and to receive what word the Lord has for you. All right.